never know. Just in case you never know. Hey, love you, girl. Do you feel the same? I don't wanna play games. No games. I'm the only one that can out my flame. Baby, just play it straight. No games. We've been together 6 months now. The most perfect day. You push for us to exchange vows. Made me change my ways. I gave my life over to you. Then you turned around. After all that we've been through, I was your rebound. Girl, I want you all time. I'll forever love you. You're mine. I'm not mad even though I'm sad. Cause you should give me one more chance. Love you, girl. Do you feel the same? I don't wanna play games. No games. You're the only one that can out my flame. Baby, just play it straight. No games.
Cue the bass. Wake the fuck up. 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 Yeah. Wake the fuck up. We'll get broke the fuck up. The wisdom we apply, son, soak this shit up. If it was sex, son, you probably smoke this shit up. So wake the fuck up. We'll get broke the fuck up. Broke the fuck up. Broke the fuck up.
Welcome to the WTFU America Show with your host Jizo and Tom Harazo. Ha gang, salute.
What's up? It's Tomas in the building.
Jizo with the people, and we got Chantel on the track. Chantelle, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm back.
Thankfully,
Glad to be here.
we missed you. Especially with so much going on, over there. Luckily you made it out alive from that wild period you guys were having down there in London. As a matter of fact, what's going on there now? Is everything? I mean, I haven't seen anything here in the U.S. news. So I'm hoping that things calm down.
I think things have kind of settled down for now. Like there hasn't been anything over like our news channels either. So
Okay,
I
good.
think people have just calmed down, and hopefully it will stay that way as well.
Good. So we're live on Ruckus Radio Live. It's Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. Thanks for joining us. Just a little bit, we're going to do a little housekeeping here. First off, I want to say, I want to thank, I Am Playful too. Tonight's show is sponsored by her, so thank you very much. She's always, I always love her and her encouraging words that she has for us. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Bo.
Jizo seconds that. Thank you. So Chantel, you've been away for 2 weeks. What's going on? The people demand to know. What have you been up to?
I've been moving, as they say, is one of the most stressful things you can do alongside, I think, a divorce. So hopefully I'll only have to go through one of those things in my lifetime, which is moving. And I don't want to be doing that too often. So it's like, you know what it is, packing everything and relocating and having to get things disconnected and connected and sorting things through, and it's been really chaotic and not having the internet, and I say moving in the present tense because I still haven't fully transitioned over to my new place yet, so
you're halfway
in,
halfway out.
You hearing me okay?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so the last couple of weeks I've kind of been spending a couple of nights over in a new place, but kind of like not feeling too comfortable because there's like no furniture, there was no internet, like I didn't really have anything with me. I was pretty bored, but I had to kind of sort things out, and now I'm back in my actual flat where I feel at home and comfortable. And then going to be making a permanent move like in the next week or so. So it's just, it's new changes for me. And, I celebrated a birthday as well. So,
That's right.
lots been going
You
on.
you sent us that picture that you sent me and Jizo, was that pre-turn up or post-turn up or during the turn up?
That was pre-turn up, but I had a couple drinks that day already, but that
Okay.
was pre-turn up. We turned up afterwards.
All right. So you had the rum flowing ahead of time. We call that.
I was actually trying to go light that night. So my friends came around. I said, I'm just gonna be having the Archers today. Like, I'm getting older now. I don't think it's about that rum. My friends came around and they were just on the Cavassier. And I was like, you know what, you lot are getting turned up on this Cavassier. I'm gonna have to open up the rum. So I started mixing my drinks a little bit just to try and catch up to them. But I'm a bit of a heavyweight anyway. I think it's my Jamaican blood. So I was good. I woke up the next day and I was still feeling good. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's what's up. Well, the
Thanks.
better, I feel like the better quality alcohol, if you get the cheap stuff, that, I don't know, I always tend to feel like that stuff really gives you, some crazy head banging headaches in the morning.
Yeah.
But
And you gotta just know how to handle yourself, and you gotta know what to do. Like I say, when you drink a lot, like make sure you drink plenty of water before you go to bed. Like if you
Yes.
wake up in the middle of the night, keep drinking water. Just keep yourself hydrated, and then that should kind of stop you getting that hangover and feeling really groggy in the morning. And then in the morning, like being British, I like to have my good sort of English breakfast kind of thing, and eggs and toast and beans and all that kind of thing. That kind of, gets me off to a good start the next day.
How about what do they call a moe mimosa? You ever had one of
A
those?
Moe
It's
mimosa?
I think
No.
it's champagne and
Orange juice?
and orange juice.
Yeah, I thought it was just mimosa.
Well, I mean, it depends.
yeah.
I mean, I say moe because right? You know what moe is. See, I'm not saying it the right way. Jizo's looking at me like if I said moet,
Well, now, cause shout out to Shelly. She be doing that, old school mimosa. But
Okay.
maybe she, maybe you are saying it the right way. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I say it the way the French say it. Moe.
Okay.
You
on that
but-
bougie shit.
Yeah, but when I go to the club, let me get a bottle of that moet.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised to hear that you guys are still messing with Cavassier over there. We
Cavassier or Hennessy. Yeah, Cavassier or
Okay.
Hennessy, one of the twos. I mean, I'm not really a brandy drinker myself,
all right.
but the guys mess with that. Especially, is Hennessy more popular than Cavassier in the States?
Yeah, I would say so. There was a song years ago, you probably remember, maybe from Busta Rhymes, "Past the Cavassier." That did bring it back a little bit, but I think Hennessy is still the staple. I think Hennessy is actually making a comeback. For a while, it was all about the vodkas over here.
What about that Crown Royal?
Yeah.
A Crown Royal apple.
Yeah, we got to sip one of those for the. Unfortunately, we had that tragedy up in Toronto. Freaking.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be talking about that a little later too. But yeah. Now we're over. I don't know. I like Dulce. Are you familiar with Dulce? It's Jay-Z's alleged cognac.
I've not come across Douce yet, actually.
Yeah,
Maybe it's in some of those specialist liquor stores.
Yeah, you
but
can't.
I've not seen it myself.
Yeah, it's not even in a lot of places around here. You got to pick your spots to find it. It's pretty smooth, but probably overrated like all the other crap. All right. Let's see here. Let me get squared away up here. I got too many buttons in front of me. That's what my problem is. So Chantel, we wanted to talk about, as we had on our intro slate here, if you will, I put Britain's Windrush scandal. You brought this to our attention. This was one of those things where, it was like a history lesson as well. That's why I'm glad you brought it to our attention. So why don't you go ahead and take the next couple minutes to explain what is the Windrush generation?
Okay, so the Windrush generation is essentially the generation of people that arrived in Britain between 1948 and 1971. And it was mostly people that came over predominantly from the Caribbean. Jamaica and Trinidad were the most prominent islands. And these people were invited to the UK during this time to kind of help rebuild the country following the Second World War. And I really want to stress the word invite. So it's not people that wanted to just come to a new country. Like, Britain actually said, can you come over? You are part of the Commonwealth. You know, you are British citizens. Can you come over and help rebuild the country? Because like we are on our knees right now and we need your help. You know, we're asking for your help.
Right. A
So
lot of people were killed.
a few
Right. A lot of British people were. I forget what the figure was. I was watching a documentary this weekend about it, but it was a lot of basically British people were killed. So they it's not like the people were coming back from the war. They weren't coming back at all.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, during the war, so many young men were killed, and therefore there wasn't anyone really there to labor, to work. So there was a shortage in so many different industries, be it nursing, be it transportation, a lot of manual labor. So they really needed people to come and help build up, the mighty UK kind of thing. So in 1948, as I say, that's when the first arrivals came, and they came on a boat that was actually called the MV Empire Windrush. So that's where the name came from, and it docked in an area called Essex, which is on the east side of London. And basically these people came over and they worked, and before they came over they had this view that they were actually coming to the motherland. They almost saw England as being the motherland, and they thought they were going to come to a great welcome. They thought the pavements were going to be paved with gold. They just had this vision of splendor in the UK. And I think when a lot of people when a lot of the Caribbean people came over, they were very disappointed. They were disappointed by the welcome they were getting.
Right.
They were disappointed by what they see, what they felt, what they experienced. Because imagine they just left Caribbean islands, sun and beautiful vegetation and fertile lands and welcoming, friendly people, and you've come to a country that's very bleak. Back in the day, England had a lot of fog as well. Literally, when the buses were driving down the street, you had to have a man in front of the bus with like a light guiding the buses through the streets because the streets were so foggy. So it was very dark. Right. It was very grey.
The fog wasn't smoke, was it? Or it wasn't like smog? Are you just saying like fog, just like weather-wise, or?
Well, both. So you had the smog because of all the coal burning, etc. So it made the skies very dark and grey. But you also had, terrible weather, and we didn't have global warming back then. So winter really was winter, and it was bitterly, bitterly cold in those days. So they've come over, and as I say, they've had to fight for finding places to live and finding work and being welcomed. And in those days, they couldn't just go to the bank and get a bank account. They had to really fight for themselves. And they always say through badness comes goodness. So even though they had to survive for themselves, it kind of helped to build up that rich community in England as well. I remember when I was very younger, my granddad used to talk about a thing called the partner. And I know Caribbean people will understand what that is. And basically, the partner is a system that was set up whereby you would every week give a portion of your wages to one of your friends to save. And then every sort of week, they would distribute it to one of the person that was in the organization. Say there was like 10 of you in the organization. Right. You all give your money per week. And then when it's your week, you get like your lump sum. So that was kind of the way that they saved back then, because they couldn't get a bank, so the banks wouldn't, save money for them. So they just found ways around, situations. So there was really that kind of community spirit back then as well.
So what's Chantel,
whilst that was going on,
I was watching that documentary, and I'm glad you brought that up because, my wife, my wife's of Puerto Rican descent, and she used to tell me that her family and friends, when she was young, they used to do the same thing. They would call it la prenda, something to that effect. I had to kind of reconfirm with her what it was called, but it was the same thing, And when I was watching the documentary, they would use, right. So like you said, the big lump sum, they would use that to, that'd be the down payment on your house. So when I was watching this video, I don't know if he was a BBC reporter. But he was black, and he was interviewing a white guy, and he's like, oh, they're coming over here and they're buying houses, they're buying property. And the guy asked him straight up, well, why aren't white people buying, houses, and buying cars? And the guy's like, because there's no money. But I don't think he realized. He's like, wait a minute, you got people that are coming in that, who don't have the advantages you do, and they're buying houses. What is it that they're doing? And they're, obviously making sacrifices. Because I bet to a lot of those people, when they were giving money to the, how did you say it again?
Partner money.
The partner, right. When they were giving that money, it was probably tough to give that money up on some of those weeks, I imagine. But they
Of course, you're making sacrifices for sure.
Right, and they were able to lift themselves up. So yeah, I've just found that interesting. You got Puerto Ricans, you got people of Jamaican descent, other Caribbean peoples, doing the same practices.
And speak to my granddad, and I used to like listen to his stories from back in the day. Like, I felt so proud, like how hard working he was and how hard working people were that time. And when you think about it, when people came over to the UK, they really had an agenda and a motive, and that motive, I'm going to come, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to make money, and I'm going to take care of my family. And I think that's kind of been lost throughout the generations now. And I think that's what you see even with new influxes of immigrants. They know what their agenda is. Like, I'm coming to work, I'm not coming to play. Like, even when I spoke to my granddad, he said he never ever took a day off work. From the day he started working in the UK, he never took a day off. Even when he had days off, he would work overtime. And he told me when he managed to save enough money for a mortgage, and when he moved into a particular area, he said, like, he was the only black family on the road, and he said he was the first person on that road to buy a car, to buy a vehicle. And he said to me, like, all the white men would like look at him and be like, how is this black man able to afford a car? And he said the difference between him and them is, first of all, he was working harder than them. He was saving his money. He wasn't going to the betting shop. A lot of these men were just getting their wages, and before they go home to their wife and, give them housekeeping money, etc., and look after the family, they were going to the betting shop and they were gambling and they were drinking away their money. And he, he's not doing that. He's not going to the pub drinking beer. He's going home and, he's doing what he's supposed to do,
Right.
as a man. So, hearing that thing, it does bring you, a level of pride that, our grandparents or our parents really did set the foundations for kind of us to be where we are now in this country. So anyway, with regards to the scandal, how this really emerged is when a lot of the Windrush generation came over as adults and had the right to be in the country and had citizenship. They also took with them some of their children. Now, the children, they were on the parents' passport. So they're allowed in the country on their passport. But what's happened is, as the decades have gone by, the UK government has decided to say, okay, everyone that came over on their parents' passport, we now want you to prove that you're British. And of course, they can't quote unquote prove that they're British because they don't have the paperwork and the formalities to prove that they're British. So it got to a point where our government was saying, well, if you can't prove it, if you're not willing to pay the fees, which were around £1,200 fees, if you can't find the paper, if you can't pay the fees, etc., if you can't prove your right to be in this country, even though you've been in this country for 50 odd years, even though you've paid your taxes, even though you've contributed to the economy, we may deport you. And, if we don't deport you, we're going to take away your rights and your access to the NHS, which, as you know, NHS gives you, the opportunity to get healthcare, free healthcare. Taking away those rights, people lost their jobs, people lost their opportunity to get benefits that they need. And so it just created such an uproar in this country. And so many people, British, English, white people, were saying, I feel embarrassed. I think this is a disgrace, because as a person, as a country where we're supposed to be welcoming, how can we now do this to people who have been contributing to this country? So, it's been in Parliament and there's been debates, and Theresa May has been forced to apologise. She's since apologised, and they're trying to reverse and rectify everything that's kind of been happening over the last few weeks.
Right. And
they're saying
at least
now,
you guys are responding. The government's responding. A couple videos that I saw, that you sent me over, at least, they realize, like, this is a real bad look. But you see, in this country, we're not, we're racing to the bottom here. It seems like in our politics. But I want to pause real quick to recognize Illuminati Cool. Thank you for the donation. His message is salute to the panel. Preach that. We really appreciate it. And thanks for listening in, Illuminati Cool. So, it's funny as you're talking about what's going on with the Windrush generation. Jizo brought up in our production meeting yesterday, that we have a similar problem, going on kind of, it's a little bit different because at least with your grandparents, they legally entered the country. In our situation, we have a thing where, basically we had people cross over the border illegally, but they brought over those young children. And now it's like we're kicking them out. We're wanting to kick them out to a country they've never even been.
Weren't they born here?
No, not the dreamers.
Not the dreamers.
Not the dreamers. If you're born here, you're good. You're a citizen.
Oh, so they were they brought them over here legally. I
Right.
thought they had them when they were here.
No, freaking. So yeah, no, that would be just as I think an outrage as as what Chantel's talking about with the Windrush people. But yeah, over here, no, the kids are technically illegal, but it's like, come on. At the same time, there's only so many of them. I don't know exactly what are the estimates, but it's like, we're willing to kick out these people who are essentially, they're
citizens.
American,
Yeah,
they're good citizens, right? And you can't have a record, right? Even if you are a kid who, if you have a record, you're not going to get citizenship. Yeah. So, but I think one of the keys, Chantel, to the whole thing is that it's when you see the rise of these right-wing governments, right? You guys, right. With Theresa May and one of your members of parliament had pointed that out, and basically we see the same thing happening here, and it's just, I guess what it is just, and so I was kind of reflecting on this. I'm like, things that we think are settled, right? All these years, right? You and maybe you can speak to this. Were you thinking that, oh, there's no way that my my father, right, or mother could be deported?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would have been thinking that, like, if my parents are born here as well, but had they not been born here, but they'd been here since they were a child, I would never think that there'd be any chance that they'd even consider deporting them, because this is their home, and this is the tragedy with some of these people, that since they've come over to the UK as children, they've not left the country. It's only when some of these people have actually said, you know what, I want to now go back to the Caribbean to see, like, maybe relatives, that's when they're even finding that they're in a problem, and that's when the authorities are now saying, actually, you shouldn't even be here. We're going to send you back now, and you can't actually come back into the country.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to some people. Some people have gone back, for example, to Jamaica for a funeral. Like there was a guy that went back to Jamaica for his mother's funeral, and then when he was ready to come back to the UK, they said, no, actually, no, you've got to stay here now.
Damn.
And it's like, but that's not his home,
Right.
He's a stranger there because he'd never gone back in 50 odd years, so it's about showing, compassion for people, that if they've only known one place as home, you can't just tell them to leave and not come back. It's almost like, we're just discarding you now. We know that you've worked all these years, we know that you paid your taxes, but yeah, we don't want you in the country anymore. You don't have a criminal record, but yeah, still, we don't want you here anymore.
Yeah, I was reading that up on it too, and I heard it's this old lady that they tried to send away, but her MP at the last minute intervened. They was like telling her, listen, you're gonna be deported, blah blah blah, and she was like, listen, they're trying to send her back to the island. She's like, I've been living here for like over 50 years, and then I forgot what does the MP stand for again?
A member of parliament.
Yeah, so yeah, they intervened at the last minute, and then I was like, damn, that's crazy, to be doing shit like that. But it's just like what's going on over here, they basically help, build the country, and then like now you shitting on people that, help build the country, and then you want to just get rid of them because it's not fitting in with certain things that you want to do. Government wise, it's like just messed up.
Right. And what it really, it's crazy to me because over there in England, I don't know. Well, I think you had a chance to listen to our last episode where I laid out some, actually, I think it might've been 2 episodes ago, where I was talking about, the demographics of England. And, I believe, black people, at large, or, as a whole, make up about 3% of England, over here, the black population is anywhere, I would say, from 13 to 15%, on any given year. So it's a significantly larger portion of people. But for them just to be basically picking on a small group like that, right? They're picking on a small group of an even smaller group, right? I mean, it's just like, what is that about? I guess it's like whenever, what I would call over here the alt-right now, whenever they see an opportunity to really pick on someone who isn't, who doesn't match their ethnicity, they're going to go for it. Even if it means, a couple thousand people, they can disenfranchise, they can export, or basically deport people, they're going to do it. And it's like when we sleep, that's when they wake up. And right now we're having that uprising here in the United States. And it made me actually, the whole Windrush thing made me think about the emancipation of slaves here in America. And thankfully we did certain things to make sure that black people weren't going to, even though, essentially what happened is, black people did get railroaded in different ways. But the actual, and I should have had my Constitution pulled up, but there were several constitutional amendments that we had to make immediately after in the years following the emancipation to make sure, because you already had people saying, okay, the slaves are freed, but there's nothing in our laws that are saying that they're actually American citizens now, right? So we had to make a law that said anyone who was born here, is American. And then we had to make another law that says, okay, well, that doesn't mean that they get the same rights as everybody else. We had to make the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law.
I got to see that 13th. You said you saw it, right? 13th Amendment?
Yeah, I did a while ago. That was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, on Netflix, yeah.
Right. So the 13th Amendment freed slaves, but it said except for
like once you commit
in prison.
Yeah, once you commit a crime, you're basically like a slave again, because then you have that, just like how now you got that X of a felony or that mark on your chest or head or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so you're free, but once you commit a crime, basically you're a slave again. Which
right.
Is, and there was nothing to do, you know what I mean? Like, they free, but there was nowhere to really, make a living and shit. And then, but yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, so you had guys like Abraham Lincoln, wanting to basically, he's like, I think we should, take black people and send them back to Africa. I think that's the best. Liberia. I don't know if everyone knows about Liberia is a country that was basically founded by, I guess you can kind of say, founded by America. I forget what president it was. He's like, no, we're gonna ship black people back. We're gonna give them. I believe it was emancipated black people. He's basically saying, you want to go back to Africa, we'll basically pay for you to go back. And they founded a country called Liberia, which is in Africa. It's still around to this day. Basically, obviously the Liberia, Liberty, you get the whole drift there. So yeah.
We need our reparations, man. I didn't even know that America's paying for reparations for the Jews in Israel that got killed, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's messed up, in the Holocaust and everything, Holocaust, how you want to say it, but even Germany, I heard, was paying reparations for to them too, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we can't get anything, like, it's just I gotta do so much research, because I'm like, why they want to hold brown skin, black skin people back? What is it? And I know a lot of people like duh, but it's like, nah, it's a lot of shit, like shit that, like, okay, we learned that, like they say in a white, like I said, I have to always say I'm not racist, but in the white man school, they say, yeah, you learn, just like even J. Cole was spitting that, and that's why he probably selling now. They was talking about all these shit that's, we learning like what they want us to learn, like, all these congressmen, white men that were in Congress like hundreds of years ago, like Columbus. I mean, he's not a congressman, but just a example, like, Columbus, he's a fucking lie, like, like all this shit that we were taught.
Columbus is America's first terrorist, man.
Yeah, it's like we you taught as a young person to, worship these people that didn't give a fuck about or were trying to exterminate your kind. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, then you get older. If you don't really, as you say, do the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going, and I don't want to get on no 5% of shit or no guy, you know what I'm saying? But
what's the math today,
what's the
man?
math? Okay, what's today's date?
Yo, you better get it right, man. You better get it.
You know what I'm saying? But it's real though, like, that's a whole nother subject. I don't want to get off to another subject, you know what I'm saying? But.
So Chantel, just going back to the Windrush, generation. So it looks like things are going to work out. It seems like, at least I think that's the kind of what I've been getting from the articles and a few of the reports that I've been seeing, it looks like the government's gonna, work with people to make sure they get their documentation, that it doesn't cost them a lot to get that documentation. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do now. So they're trying to resolve the situation. They're saying that if you've been a victim of this situation, you may be entitled to compensation. There won't be any fees now if you're trying to prove that you are a British citizen. You won't be asked to do any kind of language tests or anything like that. But obviously, this whole situation has been very traumatic for a lot of people, especially when you're being told that in your latter part of life as well, that you may not see out the rest of your days here because you're not quote unquote British. So, but yeah, they're definitely trying to rectify it now because they've been Theresa May, Amber Rudd, who is now the Home Secretary, like so many people have been called up on it, and as I said, they've debated it in Parliament, etc. So they're doing all they can now to try and to ensure that no one else has to kind of to face that, if they're entitled to be in the country.
Right.
So it was just a big, I think what's been happening, and yeah, with the whole Brexit situation, is that they were trying to have this hard line on immigration and on illegal immigrants in the country. And I think because of this hard line, it backfired on them, and then it meant that people who actually shouldn't be getting any kind of trouble or bother kind of got caught up in that situation as well, and that's kind of why it's sort of come to light as well.
It's almost like they wanted to make an example. It's like, yo, we're willing to, right? We're willing to go after people who helped build this country. The children of those people. Yo, we're gonna go after the Pakistanis. We're gonna go after and I know you guys have these different all those charts that I was looking at a couple weeks ago. It's interesting how you guys kind of break up ethnically. The country, you got your Asians, you got your Pakistanis. That's a measurable amount of people. Here, when I think of, we wouldn't break it down here like, how many Pakistanis we have, per se. We probably just put them all in one, big group and call it Asians.
But yeah, it's like messed up what happened. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Chantel, but like when I was reading up on it, it was like in 1971 they did that big immigration, law, where they would like stop trying to let illegals come in, but I think they said Homeland Security or whatever that was keeping the books. They didn't keep the difference, like they wasn't keeping who was already here between the new ones that were coming in. So that's where it kind of got mixed up, where they didn't know which people were actually the Windrush generation, and then so they trying to just like get everybody in one swoop when it's actually people that probably are there legally, but the people from the Windrush generation like, no, I was here, but they don't really have like documentation to show that, because they fucked up at the I guess the paperwork over at the Homeland Office or whatever. Is that like on track a little bit? Or
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was reading the same thing. Basically, they effed up, and now it's like they're trying to make up for it. Like, and who knows if it was done deliberately? Saying, well, if we don't document this, maybe later on we could say, hey, get the F out. We don't have no paper. Where's your paperwork's missing?
They thought we was going to be an easy target, right? I think they thought, yeah, we can just like dash out all these Caribbean people and it won't bat an eyelid because no one really cares. But like actually people do care about Black people because we have made such a massive contribution to this country. And even like, I know in the chat room, they're even talking about it now, like the, Caribbean people, different, types of people in the UK now. But even if you were to come to London, you heard how the young people speak, even the way the young people speak, it's a direct reflection on immigration in this country. Like the whole like Cockney accent has gone. It's something called MLE now, which is multilingual English, and multilingual English is a combination of, British, Jamaican, Asian, African dialect. That it's all a mix now. We all contribute to everyone's culture, and yeah, the people are going to stand up for us, even if they're not Caribbean, even if they're not Black, and say, what's wrong is wrong, and that's how it should be.
That's good. At least you guys are coming together. I think we're slowly coming together. The 90, and now these are illegal immigrants. To be fair, they're undocumented, but there was a sweep recently in Alabama. Basically I think they arrested, ICE. This is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. arrested about 90 people. They I think they went into like a poultry packing plant, and they pretty much arrested everyone who was working there. Apparently was, most of them were undocumented. And this community in Alabama, they're actually kind of outraged. What's funny is a lot of these people probably voted for Trump, but they're like, yo, our neighbors, they're missing. You know what I mean? Like these are like they live amongst these people. They're like, yo, these are good people. Yeah, they're here illegally, but they go to church, they bust their ass. You know what I mean? At the poultry plant, they send their kids to school. And they're outraged, and a couple of them have expressed some regret. Like, this is not what we wanted. Yeah, we Trump said he was going to do that, but, they didn't take him seriously.
Yeah.
Because Trump's the type of guy, basically he panders to his base, right? Oh, you guys want this? I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? But and a lot, I think even a lot of his base thinks about it like, well, it doesn't matter if he does it. The fact that he's saying it alone is good enough to make us happy. But we can see some of his, his key supporters are like, nah, you know what, this isn't what we thought it was gonna be. He's had a couple failures. This tax break really isn't helping anybody out. I mean, someone let me know. Chime in, say, yo, are you feeling this tax break in your paycheck?
Kanye loves him.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, we're gonna get into Kanye. Trust me. Actually, actually, yeah, we're gonna get in on him. I'm done with him. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't want to transition quite yet, but I'm done. I'm looking at my record collection. Like I just bought what is it? It was like 6 months ago. That beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
Oh, you just got that album.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? It was considered a classic. I'm like, let me tuck this away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, for my collection. Hand it down to my daughter. Oh shit! What happened? Jizo's sun lamp.
Yeah, the sun lamp went out.
We don't have the camera in here, but Jizo got this artificial sun in the studio. You know what I mean? So I hope you're.
Yo, that shit help you stay woke.
Yeah, literally.
I'll turn it back on and shit. Hold on.
All right. Jizo's gonna take a light break here. All right, I guess it timed out. Yeah, Jizo got like this fluorescent lamp and shit. Fucking. But all right, whatever it takes to stay awake. I use caffeine. That's my freaking drug of choice. But sunlight is good too. So again, people down there in Alabama, they're all outraged, and hopefully things will change in 2020 if Trump makes it that far. I don't know if he is, to be honest with you, but
Do you think he will?
I'm hoping,
which is going to happen.
Mueller get it. I hope Mueller get it.
I would like to see him leave in disgrace.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kind of like Nixon had to, Clinton almost had to. He almost took that L. But I mean, he pretty much embarrassed the country. But I would love to see, just wake up one day and see, the president is got his bags, they're packed, they're getting on the helicopter, and they're getting the fuck out of here.
It looks inevitable.
There you go. You got it. You nailed it.
Everybody that's like getting, taken down around him, and it is like firing and shit is crazy, man. Like you said, this shit ain't probably happened since Nixon. I wasn't even. What was he? I wasn't even born.
Nixon went down in the 70s.
Yeah, I was a baby and shit. Like shit ain't never happened.
Damn, you was alive at that time?
Nah, son.
You were old. Chantel, we can't be messing with these old heads. We got to get a younger, hipper.
Preach the truth to the young black youth.
We need to get one of these kids who's rocking skinnies. The fashion.
Popping Xannies and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all need to listen to that J. Cole KOD. You know what I'm saying? That's my era right there.
Yeah, I heard that shit's popping. I got to check that out. I got to cop that, man.
Said?
All right. So, we'll follow up with you, Chantel, hopefully. If anything develops, say if it goes left, right? And they're like, nah, it turns out we're gonna screw over the Windrush generation anyways. You'll let us know. What's up, Jizo? You got that?
We won't let that happen, though.
Good. You got to fight. That's what happens when we sleep. It's all good, whatever, and then boom.
That's our legacy. And actually, when I was even like sort of meddling on this whole situation, I was thinking about the whole situation that's been happening in London as well. And I thought to myself, if the young people want something to fight for, that's what they need to be fighting for. Their grandparents, their great grandparents who come here to set a foundation for us. So when you're on the street and you want to kill each other over silliness, like this is what you need to be focusing on. This is your history. This is your legacy right here, and we don't want it to go in vain. You know what I mean? We need to stand strong on it and unite as well.
Absolutely. All right, good. So Jizo has a lot of shit on his mind. So,
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Crazy,
Freaking,
son.
he got the studio on lock. He got this shit looking like the sun right now. So,
Yeah, man.
you know what I mean? Sun, moon, and stars. You don't know, but I gotta enlighten you on that 5% of stuff we were talking about. You know what I mean?
On, son. Probably on YouTube. You be like, nigga.
Brother. So, Jizo, you wanted to talk about this. Okay, Jizo's messing with his mic, so I had to cut him off. All right, he's gonna get situated. All right, Jizo, go ahead and represent on the mic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I was just, can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, you good. You want to turn it up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got the headphones on. Headphones on fire right now, Styles. Now, yo, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I just want to talk about
this Toronto stuff,
stuff, the Alabama stuff. Was it Alabama? No, Nashville. It was Nashville and Alabama. But the Toronto stuff was what had me most outraged, you know what I'm saying? Where, I don't know if you heard, Chantel, I think it happened yesterday. This, I could say Caucasian-looking dude killed like 10 people in a van. It was like a 1 to 2 mile radius of just a straight carnage of him running over people. I mean, it happened in New York, I think, late last year, down by the World Trade Center, where there's, the same thing, except for he killed more people. I mean, in New York, I think maybe like 4 to 5, maybe no more than 10. I think it was like 7 people died, but this guy killed 10, injured 15. I don't know if anybody else going to die. And what I was outraged about, I mean, I'm not saying I know some cops. I know, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand if Canadian cops are like American cops, but basically this guy pulled out, like, matter of fact, show the clip if you can. Or you want me to keep talking?
No, we can show the clip. So go ahead and all right, we'll show it. I think the clip speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and watch it right
Run
now.
that shit, then I'll get back on.
All right. Okay. I don't see the clip. Anybody else seeing it? No, I'm definitely not seeing it. Stand by. All right, keep talking, G's, until I get this clip right.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you know how black men always get shot for reaching your hands in your pocket? This dude basically, after he killed like 10 people, he's by the van, and they just show him he wanted to get killed.
Officers
finally
stopping the
Okay,
van,
all right.
leading to the standoff in this video. The driver pulling an object from his pocket, repeatedly pointing it at an officer. The driver telling the officer to kill him. But the man was not armed, and the officer never fired on him, taking him down and handcuffing him. Police identifying the driver as 25-year-old Alec Manassian. A motive still unclear.
All right, so yeah, I edited that down just to get the important stuff. But you know, Jizo, so what did you see there?
Now, come on, man. You know, we wouldn't even got to reach in our pocket once, like acting like we got a cell phone. Okay, that dude obviously wanted to die. You know, I don't know a black man that was unarmed that wanted to die, but this guy wanted to die, and maybe Canadian cops are different. But it's like the question. So I wish I had some people to call in right now, be like, so do you think Canadian cops are really trained to not shoot? You know, are they really reformed where they like, listen, this guy doesn't have a gun. I'm not going to shoot him because he doesn't have a gun. I could clearly see it's a cell phone. Or did they not shoot because he was white? So I'm kind of confused because, like, I don't want to say I wish he was black so I could see if they would have shot him because I don't want that to happen. But it's just like, you know, I'm so used to seeing a black man get gunned down for even just reaching his pockets or, you know, even to make the motion. You know, actually, I talked to someone that's in the police academy now, and he was talking about, you know, basically, you know, this is the only job where you could go to clock in at 3 o'clock and then get your head blown off at 4 o'clock, which is true. And
where
being a cop.
Being a cop?
Yeah.
Yo, I think being a cop is not even in the top 10 most dangerous jobs. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you know what's funny? A trash man is actually has probably a higher likelihood of freaking dying on the job than a cop. So, freaking these lobster fishermen out here are freaking risking their lives so that I could have lobster bisque, you know what I'm saying, on Good Friday.
That would be a heated call. If some cops calling, what are you talking about?
Yo, I'll break the I don't even have the stats in front of me right now, but I'll dig them up because I know that they're gonna reflect what I'm talking about.
I mean, I remember when you was even saying my job because I'm on the road all the time.
Yeah, driving is one of the most truck drivers, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, because I saw a bad accident. That's a whole nother story that killed someone in Connecticut last night. But anyway, getting back to the story, man. This guy basically dared the cops to shoot him. He didn't shoot. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, Chantel, the cops over there in London, are they like reformed like that, or do they shoot first if they think a guy has a gun or not?
Cops in the UK don't really carry guns.
Oh,
our cops don't routinely carry guns. Very rarely, like with the situation that happened with Mark Duggan when we had the riots in Tottenham in 2011. Those specialist police had guns, but routinely cops don't carry guns. It's still the whole baton stuff.
Oh yeah, they beat you with them batons and shit, right?
Kind of
Batons.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I'm moving to London. Fuck it. Yo,
they don't want you
to the flat, man. I'm coming to the flat. Yo, it's funny how you say flat for your crib. That's what I used to call back in the hood. We had because in the Bronx, like it was like we lived in a hilly hood, and it was like we had the flat. Like when you come to my block, it was just flat, so we used to call it the flat. Like 2 or 3 blocks, it's just a flat. But anyway,
okay,
that's a whole nother shit.
Going in on don't you guys call the cop? What do you guys call your cop? The Bobbies, right? Is that
Bobby on the beat? We got different
Bobby,
names.
bitch.
You could just call them the feds, like you guys.
Oh, okay.
The Popo. We
okay.
pretty much use the same terminology as you guys.
Yeah,
all right.
You guys do.
But
dicks
one thing,
yeah.
I saw a video last week. I didn't talk to Jizo about it. I was just telling my coworker last night about it though. It was in Wales, and they were trying to arrest this dude. He had 2 like huge kitchen knives in his hand right now, and they're like, "Yo, put the knives down." They were gonna taser him. So one cop pushes open the door. He comes out lunging with the 2 knives, like I can't even like Edward Scissorhands and shit. He's lunging at, and the cop is like, he's within inches of getting stabbed multiple times. And this is a lot of trust between officers to.
It's in London.
This was in Wales.
Wales.
And Wales is a basically what, like another. I'm right now my geography is all checked up, but it's not on the mainland, right? It's an island.
Yeah, it's like over there though, right?
Yeah, it's part of the UK, right?
Yeah,
Chantel, help us out here.
Yeah, Wales is a part of
Sorry, say that. Yeah.
Wales.
Wales is part of the UK.
Yeah, so they're in Wales, and the guy's lunging with the 2 knives at the one cop who doesn't even have his taser out, and then the other cop tasers him. You know what I mean? They get him, obviously he falls, he freaking tightens up or whatever, and they're sitting there, asking him if he's okay. You know what I mean? Wow. And I'm like, wow, like, this dude almost got killed. You know what I mean? Like, he's within inches of getting stabbed, like I was saying, multiple times. They get the guy on the ground. They're like, yo, are you all right? Are you all right? He's talking to the guy as he's taking, like, the prongs off. You're all right, mate. You're all right, mate. You just, don't worry about it.
Different
this, that,
and life.
And I'm like, wow. In America, he would have got Swiss cheesed up, point blank.
Tell, in London, I know you said there's not a lot of gun violence, like guys will be stabbing and, now the acid attacks, but is it easy to get, like, like illegal guns over there? Like, how... you hear over here like... You're asking the wrong person, Jesus. You're asking the wrong person. That was a trick question.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, don't worry. She's on WhatsApp, and that's end-to-end encryption. Ain't nobody listen. If the feds want to listen in, if the MI6 want to listen in, they're going to have to go to Ruckus Radio Live and subscribe, all right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, because the way, he talking about, that happened in Wales, and then you said in London they don't carry guns, but that's crazy. But, and then also... So what happened, and I don't know if you heard what happened in Nashville, Tennessee, where this guy came with an AR, told me it's his favorite weapon. He said that they don't need to be banned. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about banning it or not. But basically, he came in there with an AR-15, half naked, shot up like some people that's just eating. It was late night, after the club or whatever. And then this one guy saw an opportunity that he actually got grazed by a bullet, and he was the hero. He waited. He saw the guy drop the gun, I guess, to reload, and he said he just attacked him because he said it was like a split second, but like when everything is in slow motion, he said he just went for it. He's like he's gonna have to work for this kill, and he grabbed. He's like the barrel was hot, and then he just like wrestled it from him and threw it over the counter, and then the dude fled. But always when they find these guys later, they always come out not even beat up or nothing. It don't even look like they beat him up or shot him or nothing. He just surrendered. But it's just fucked up that, these guys, like, again, going back to the Obama when he was doing the, what's it, background check. When he was saying,
universal background checks,
universal background checks for all you motherfuckers that want to have guns. I'm not trying to kill the Second Amendment and say you can't have guns, but damn, do a background check. And then Trump came with this, Obama's trying to take your guns, and then all these fucking right wingers and people that's, that's shooting all the time. I mean, yo, he's taking our guns, And I'm like, dude, and I'm not even no illegal gun over there. And I'm like, yo, this guy is telling you just to get a background check. Now you see crazy motherfuckers like this coming in. Why you want to come in there half naked? He just had a jacket on, so he's kind of loco, loony.
Maybe he watched that episode where we showed General Butt naked. Remember that freaking African warlord?
So he comes in there, sprays the place up, kills 4 people. If it wasn't for that dude, he probably would have killed more. And then last but not least, another way, it's just like the narrative, like black people over here get treated like shit by cops. Then you got, this lady, she wasn't kind of compliant, but I mean, it's just like, yo, if you don't got no reason to arrest me, because this is what happened. It was in Alabama, I think, where a lady, it was plastic utensils. She didn't want to, they was going to make her pay for plastic utensils because, like, I guess they didn't have any more silver utensils.
So what are we talking about, Waffle House here?
Yeah, another Waffle House incident where the chick got, like, she was basically, not stripped, but they, her titties were popping out because the cops got called and they were going to arrest her, but she like, why? I didn't do anything. She's, like, complaining about, having to pay for plastic utensils, just like the Starbucks shit. The cops got called, and then they like got on the ground and like basically almost Eric Gardner her because she ain't want to comply. I'm like, damn, like I don't know, maybe she should just could have complied, but that shit had me tight. I'm like, from the shooting in Nashville, then you got the shit in Toronto where the dude didn't get shot and he's like fucking playing with the cops. Oh, you see this? It's a gun. It's a cell phone. It's a gun. It's a cell phone. Like, yo, like. It's just it's a narrative, and then when people like, oh well, black on black crime, get the fuck out of here, man. White on white crime is just the same as black on black crime. It has to do with fucking like we was talking about like a show or two ago about fucking money, neighborhoods. People in poor neighborhoods commit crime more than people in rich neighborhoods. And why the more black neighborhoods poor? That's when you have to look at redlining. What's that shit? That's that shit I was talking about, right? With the redlining, where the banks don't want to lend to certain motherfuckers like us and shit. But, I don't want to get deep on it, you know what I'm saying? Right. But we talked about that shit.
Fucking,
actually, shit.
I'm glad. I'm glad you brought up, actually, Gizo, kind of going, I just wanted to recommend an article. Last week I was talking about the Fortune 500 article that basically says that, blacks and Latinos are going to be broke by 2053 and have zero net worth. This is a piece from Antonio Moore. It was on Huffington Post, The Decadent Veil, Black America's Wealth Illusion. I just recommend, I'm not going to get into the piece right now, because that was last week's stuff, but just kind of continuing the conversation with that, I think this is an important piece to read to kind of understand. I think Antonio makes some very valid points on why maybe us contemporaries are not understanding the situation that we're in regards to wealth and our declining wealth. Because some of us, what's funny right now, we look at our small circle, we're probably like, well, shit, Gizo's doing all right. This guy's doing okay. I'm not really seeing what Tom's talking about. And I don't really, that Fortune 500 piece is, maybe it isn't, being truthful. Maybe it's more alarmist. But there's an increasing body of work that supports what Fortune 500 was saying, and I think this one is a real nice addition. So if you get a chance, check it out, and let us know what you think about it. Is it bullshit, whatever?
Yeah, I was just gonna say because wealth needs to be generational, doesn't it? And I know that Tone Talks and Yvette Carnell talk a lot about generational wealth and how you invest your money, right? And I think, with wealth, you could easily look at people and think they've got a lot of money because of the car they're driving or what they're wearing or how they kind of carry themselves, but you don't really know, what assets they're sitting on or how deep their pockets are. Someone else you could look at and they may appear to be broke, but they may actually be sitting on a lot of wealth. So it's really important, I think.
Right.
In our community to kind of be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
How to acquire money and how to keep money and how to invest money.
And make, I saw, God, I didn't click on it. I refused to click on it, but apparently it was a rapper who we have here in the United States. His name's Savage 21, and it was like he was giving out money advice. Actually, I did watch the first few seconds, and now he's one of these new generation of rappers. I can't really, I can't really.
21 Savage.
Is it? What do I say?
I don't know.
I said Savage 21. I flipped him.
I don't know. It might be Savage 21.
I think it is 20. It's 21. You said 21 Savage, right?
Yeah, because I remember that happened to me at the gym. I said his name wrong, and one of them young cats was like, yo, man, that's not how you say his name. I was like,
Yo, you should have been like, look, youngin, I don't give a fuck what his name is.
I know. I was like, man, that motherfucker whack. Nah,
but he's giving it. He's like, look, and one of the things he says, which is true, he's like, you gotta, the money that you have, not only first you gotta acquire it, but then you've got to make it work for you. You have to let that, make that money, make more money for you. So, and
if 21 Savage ever heard this podcast, I mean, I'm fucking around, man. I mean, I don't listen to your music like that. He got some hot shit. I ain't gonna front that shit with what's that White Iverson dude?
Oh, fucking
that rock star shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some different shit, but it's like, I know, like Snoop said, you can't hate on the youngins, but it's like, hey, I can't fuck with all of it, but some of it, but you know, I mean, it's just like some, you know, just like listen to J. Cole album, you see what I'm talking about. It's like the shit they talking about. You be like, it is what it is. They just talking about not just him per se, talking about Xannies and drinking lean and
right.
You know, but I guess they look at some of the rappers from our generation and be like, Redman, he didn't talk about nothing but smoking weed. And, you know, but it's just like you can't put the whole, I guess, rap generation of this young, but a lot of them are just talking that mumble shit. You be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I don't want to call anybody out. Just get your money.
Oh, but you were talking a lot of shit a second ago about Kanye. What's up with that?
Oh,
are you good with Kanye?
Man, yo, man. Damn,
and what about
man.
the lady's name, Candace Owens? You wanted to get
yes, I'm sorry, man. I'm that goddamn. You're good at this shit. Yeah, Kanye, man. I was listening to Ebro morning shows, saw it on YouTube. They said Kanye West says I love Donald Trump. I'm like, huh? So I listened to the shit, and they was talking about, you know, I'm just gonna get to it. They talking about the shit at Coachella. And, you know, Beyonce killed it and shit.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you know, somebody commented on, like, I see why, you know, the Carters don't hang with the, you know, whatever, what's his last name? The Wests or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they went, and then, you know, he was on Instagram or Twitter, and so one of his friends got on saying, yo, you talking about my homie Kanye? And he was like, basically Kanye was like, you know, getting mad at, you know, saying that, listen, you know, nobody, you know, came to my side when I was addicted to opioids. I knew he was something was wrong with him.
Oh, Kanye?
Yeah, he said he was addicted to opioids, and Ebro was like, you lying. He was like, you was talking about people that came, you know, Pusha T and Scooter Braun over, that people was reaching out for you. And he was like mad at Obama because he like, yo, Obama, I tried to reach Obama about this gun shit in Chicago. And they're like, you ever try to reach out to, you know, Common Sense or, you know, Little Durk or them G Herbo, like them cats that's, you know, trying to do shit for gun violence in Chicago. And he was like, you know, Trump gave me a sit down. He's like, yo, Trump ain't give you no time in you know, in Washington D.C. He invited like you, Steve Harvey, and Jim Brown to, you know, Fifth Avenue just to like for show. Like, yo, okay,
photo op.
Yeah, I got this black guy. You know, there's a black rapper. I got the black personalities. You know, so it's just like, yo, I think he's mad. Like Ebro was saying. You remember when Obama called him an asshole like 5 years ago or 4 years ago? And he was like,
better not fuck with you. Know they calling Obama T'Challa. No, they Barack T'Challa Obama.
Oh.
That's his new nickname. Fucking, but yeah.
Well, he was just like, yeah, he loves Donald Trump and all this shit, and I was like, wow. But you know, another thing, why couldn't Donald Trump come to represent, you know, for the former first lady when she passed away? You saw the photo op. Yeah. It had Obama. Obama was even making what's on Trump's wife again?
I call her melanoma, but her name's Melania.
Yeah, he was making her laugh. You know, he hitting her with that. Yeah, you know, I know you in a situation, but you know, they took the picture. It was you know, it was all of them, and it just not Trump. It was the Bushes, you know, the son, you know, the father, you know, George Bush II, or whatever, the son, his wife. I'm like, damn, he had to fuck it up. You know, he ain't want to. He talk about all this respect for the flag, but he don't want to come, you know, show love to respect for a lady that was a former first lady. But that's a whole nother situation. But and then this Candace Owens chick or whatever her name is, she talking shit about the Black Lives Matter movement and shit. And Kanye's co-signing on that shit. Like he talking about he want people not to be programmed. He wants, you know, like that's what he's saying. We demonize people to things out the box. Like, yo, you trying to get, I think because he got a new album coming out and shit, so he probably just talking mad shit, you know, and trying to get, that's what he does before he got an album coming out.
He's probably playing the numbers. He looks at it like, look, you know, how many black people are going to buy my album, right? If I sell strictly to black people, I'm not getting that Kim K money, that KK, right? I owe KK a lot of money. She bailed me out. she sold the app for $60 million and bailed me out. Fucking. So she's like, yo, I gotta appeal to, these conservatives, these white people.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are gonna freaking keep me in this family. Because that family just gonna throw him right on his ass if he don't make that paper.
Yeah, basically.
They looking at
Yeah, because
I'm talking shit now.
That Candace Owens chick, man. You ever heard about her, Chantel?
No, not till you mentioned her in the chat the other day.
Yeah, she this chick that's like basically on some
she's a black conservative, right?
Yeah, and she was just hating on Black Lives Matter. I think she's like another Stacey Dash, like, she's trying to get money from Fox or something, or just to say outlandish shit about obvious shit that, like, you'd be like, really? Like, talking about, like, Black Lives Matter, people are whiners and shit. Like, yo, get the fuck out of here. That's why, like, even when I talk to some people that are, like, cops or, I even here in Connecticut, I used to see, like, 2 years ago, I don't see the signs anymore, on people's front lawns, White Lives Matter. All lives matter, but y'all not getting killed by the police. I don't care if y'all comply or not. Matter of fact, sometimes you don't even get a chance to comply. You don't see the video footage, like when motherfuckers are running away. I mean, if you're running away, don't you think you deserve to get tased? It's not like that, come on, man. Like, or you get choked to death. I mean, the dude, Eric Garner, they play, all he had to do was put his hands behind his back, but white people don't, even comedians make jokes about it. White people could talk to cops anyway and get away with it. A black person gets outlandish, oh yeah, we're gonna get physical with your ass. A white person could, I'm gonna have your fucking badge, I'm gonna have you fucking suit. Like, they could get outrageous like that. Oh shit.
What the hell's going on here?
Someone had somebody calling in.
Somebody calling me? Stand by. Let's see here.
My shit stopped.
Chantel?
Oh, she dropped.
Yeah, something happened. Fucking. Oh, okay, it says reconnecting now. What the hell? Never had that happen before. All right, let's see if she comes back on. Shit, it's unexpected. But you were.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I thought somebody was, maybe that was her calling back, because we didn't know she clocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just some bullshit, man.
Chantel, you back with us?
I'm back with you.
All right, did you get a call?
Yeah. But I was reconnected, but I don't think you could hear me, and then you called.
Okay, yeah, I started putting you down because we were getting a tone. But so with the Candace Owens lady, right?
Yeah, she's just a fucking, I think a cooner for these fucking Fox News motherfuckers in layman's terms, man.
Yeah, Chantel, over there, in England, do you guys have? I mean, I know it's such a small amount of people, or at least population-wise, but do you guys have to deal with people, of your own ethnicity, your own race, basically working against, progress?
Yes, we do. And yeah, they're sellouts, aren't they? They're just sellouts. I just think that they're just so caught up in a certain mindset. I don't know whether they're embarrassed of who they are, whether or not they're just pandering. But even again, going back to the whole Windrush situation, I was watching something online earlier. And one of the guys, a young man who's kind of been affected by it because of his parents, he was talking to a guy from, I think he's from like the Conservative Party, and the guy just didn't show any kind of sympathy to the situation. And he said to him, like, yeah, because you don't get it. And it's like, even though the guy he was talking to was black and he should get it, it's like he's so disconnected to what the reality of what's happening in the community. So, you're going to always get people like that who are just kind of resisting movement and resisting, change that needs to happen within our community, because they just don't feel like it's necessary, or they think they're above the situation, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and it's too bad, because when you're, obviously we're, again, here in America, loosely 13 to 15%, African American, Hispanic, around that same, about 15% as well. There's not enough of us to be working against each other, right? We need, all, like I like to say, all hands on deck. We don't need one, not even one or two of us, can straighten out. We're all not, we don't all have the same mindset, but there's a set of common goals, and it really hurts when there are those amongst us who are just, I don't know what it is. Is it a defense mechanism? I don't know. I think there's a lot of psychology at play that needs to be understood. Which kind of leads me into this next, as we wind down here. I just wanted to play this video of this this Latina lady who just really, her and her little buddy, on the bullshit. I think we need to, because again, we don't talk. I know we talk about kind of like Jizo was saying. He called the young lady, or what was that, Coonin? Kanye, same thing, right? Uncle Tomin, whatever. I have my own term for Uncle Toms, and I don't know if one exists really for the Hispanic equivalent, but I call them Uncle Juans just because it kind of goes with Uncle Tom. But these Uncle Juans out there just working against everything that we value, and I think this young lady is representative of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this. It's about 2 minutes, and just her, like I was telling you guys, yesterday. She's a little tough to listen to. She has a heavy accent, but try to bear with it. Okay, and my video isn't ready for some reason. There's the second video I didn't have that was ready. I'll square this away here in a second, but yeah, her, she goes by, I think she calls herself the Republican chick. And basically she's all about that Trumpism. Let's see here. Stand by. All right. I tried to do something new. And
Yeah.
Here we go.
Starbucks under fire after an incident
video.
at a Starbucks.
Yeah, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Here we go.
So everybody's freaking out about the recount, and it's driving me insane. Everybody needs to fucking relax. It's not gonna change. They just want us to get distracted from Pizzagate.
From what?
Pizzagate?
Oh, Pizzagate. That's correct.
That's all they're trying to do. We gotta use all our efforts into Pizzagate and not let that one die, because that's what the mainstream media is trying us to get distracted from. So check all the Pizzagate stuff. I've been attacked by more African Americans on Twitter than white people, in all honesty.
That's true, I have too.
Yeah. They're the most racist people I ever met. African Americans are way more racist than white people. Makes no fucking sense. It's completely reverse racism. And I feel bad for white people. I do. It's kind of, bad, because if we go and say what we believe on, then we're racist and Nazis and everything. But then we have to be tolerant to their views, So retarded. Has he killed people? No. Well, Hillary is Hitler.
Islam is not tolerant, and it is not tolerant to be tolerant of an ideology that cannot coexist with people who disagree with them.
Exactly, and it's just a cult. All the practices are cult-like, all that they do. And it's like, I don't think that's a religion that asks for killing other people and abusing women. That's not a religion. That's a fucking cult. Like, I'm serious. Like, that's not religion. Someone is asking if you think it's a Muslim brotherhood. Well, how many of them are in the government? Yes. Already,
Absolutely.
Like in Congress. I think the main goal of them, the media and the Democrats, is to cause a civil war, because at the end, they're going to end up profiting from it. Like, we think fake news in English is bad, but Spanish is even worse. Like, I see them put Univision Telemundo, and they're like, Donald Trump hate you. Donald Trump wants to deport you. Like, all they said is that he's going to deport all Latinos. And that's not true.
He was from Somalia. He wasn't even from Syria.
Yeah, but it was Muslim.
Oh, I know. It was still part of the refugee. It's like, I get it. But
she was going to allow more Americans, and then more...
All right, I think we had I think it looped itself. Anyways, so we had this lady talking about Pizzagate and shit, talking about, the founders would have hung the president. I don't know if you guys got to hear that in that scene, but he got the hung, they would have hung President Barack Obama and Hillary for treason. Like, and I'm sitting there saying, like, and this is what happens when you're ignorant, right? You're going to hang a president for treason, the guy who killed essentially our number one public enemy, right? freaking what's his name,
Osama.
Bin Laden, right? Kills Osama bin Laden, tries to give health care, say to the majority of people that they're gonna hang him for treason. Like I don't, I'm really resisting the urge to freaking just be like, yo, what?
That's that lady that was in the truck.
Yeah, she's in the truck, and then she had a couple other shits going on, and she was with some other chick also that popped up. What was it? Right millennial, right? So she's like a young millennial right winger. But it's just like when you don't even have a factual understanding of what President Barack Obama achieved in his during his tenure, it's like I could say, okay, we're not saying he was the greatest president, right? Well, we don't have to say that, I should say. But now that's a big difference between he should be hung for treason versus he was as a president, right? I mean, we can have that argument on his effectiveness.
Yeah, anything should just say that about Trump ass and shit.
Right. Oh no, they won't say, right. And then she talks about Islam. Oh, that's a cult. That ain't a real religion. Any religion that treats women, the way they treat them, it's like, lady, have you ever heard of Christianity?
Yeah, I
know what I mean?
right?
What I'm saying? You ever heard of Judaism? They not for nothing, nothing against my I was gonna say fellow, like I'm Christian or Jewish, but not nothing against them. But in their history, in their text, there are some scripture, and there are events that they weren't really treating women all that well as either. So again, it's just the ignorant. When you're ignorant, and that's what's great about being ignorant. You could just say anything, right? You fucking so that's why Kanye's in the same. Right, no one looks at him like he's an intellectual heavyweight. So they just look at it like, yo, most people should just be like, yo, Kanye, yo, shut the F up, make that music. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to hear about fucking this, that, and the third.
Yeah, because he's a musical genius, but that's it. Like, what he's going through now, I mean, I know his mother passed away. I know the thing about mothers. My mother passed away, but I don't know if he's still, whatever he's going through is like, damn, I mean, his mother passed away a while ago. I mean, but I just think, like they said, he in Calabasas, California, if I said it right, out there in that bubble, and he's just disconnected from, like, what's really going on, or maybe he just doesn't want to be connected, and he's like, yo, fuck it, I got this money now, I'm trying to push my fucking sneakers and clothing line and music, and fuck everybody else that don't, because Ebro was going in on him. Ebro was like, yo, he's selfish, he did that, and that, and I was like, damn, Ebro's going in on him, but
and we have to, in a way, it's like, we have to. Maybe it's like we have to just do, we can't continue to subscribe to the guy, right? The more we show up to his shows, we buy his music, he's like, I can pretty much get away with anything. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I hate to say it, but, I'm on that R. Kelly shit. I mean, every week there's like something else coming up. I think his publicist, his manager dropped him. They're finally getting to the point, right? The people who are making money off him are like, yo, I can't even support this guy anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. Like a year ago, I ain't really, because on Apple Music, you could stream any fucking thing, and it's like, I haven't been listening to him, but like, damn, man, I want to listen to some R. Kelly, but it's just like, if you're not like listen, like, cause you download so much shit, and you're like, damn, you forget about it, but I just play it when I'm not around you.
Yeah, freaking.
Nah, but Kanye,
maybe you could call up. Actually, I was telling you, Bonnet Lightbody's got a show coming up on the R&B tip. He's basically going to be playing R&B, discussing R&B. That. Maybe that needs to get brought up. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the direction they want to go in, talking about these guys personally, but it's tough to ignore. You know what I mean? It's really tough to ignore that he's an abuser of women, but yet he also sings. Women music for women. So it's a little ridiculous. But yeah, we have to stop get our dollars, man. It's all about the money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Your money. We now realize in this country that money is speech, right? Unfortunately, money is speech. That's why corporations can give so much money to candidates, and elected officials, because dollars speak. So, and we have to make our dollars talk when we disapprove of something. When we approve of something, we also have to spend too. We can't just say, yeah, attaboy, or let me give you freaking an attaboy. It's like, no, you need to let that money, you need to let them Washington. Well, I don't even know who the fuck's on this fucking. These dead presidents. I don't even look at them anymore, man.
Just
I don't
give it over.
We were just talking a little while ago about money, wasn't we? And how to get money and spend money, invest money. Like you say, money talks. And just if you don't agree with something, like hold yourself accountable. And there's a saying, the opposite of doing good is not doing bad, it's doing nothing. So, like you were saying, Gizo, like if you don't agree with what R. Kelly is doing, like you just need to for yourself not listen to him. Like don't even worry if anyone else is not listening. Don't support him, because if we all thought like that, he wouldn't get that support. But it starts with us saying, you know what, I don't agree with that, so I'm not even gonna, I'm not gonna give it any of my energy, any of my time. I'm gonna just disconnect myself from it. And I think that's what we all need to do as individuals at times as well. Like there's even some artists that I like and I just won't listen to them because I know what they have been, accused of doing. So I'm just not going to support them with my time or my energy.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well, get Jizo's mixtape that was due out 20 years ago. That shit's sitting in the vault.
Yo, son. yo, I got bars. Don't worry, man. I got some bars.
Yo, I'll put a beat on right now and end off on a Jizo freestyle.
I got to go to work in the morning.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Chantel, we're glad to have you back. Yeah. It's been a long time coming. Freaking Jizo's been wanting to take a day off, too. So we needed you back so you could sub in. Hopefully,
he got to show me how to work all these boards. He over there with 1,000 plugs and mics and computers and shit.
Yeah,
I got to take some stress off him because I talked about that off air. We talked about that off air. All right, peace out.
Thanks for listening, guys. Peace.